South Park is a series that is not afraid to get into controversy. All of its humor is based on it. It was the series that created a space in adult animation. South Park has no limits in terms of how irreverent it can be. In this video we will see some of the best things that the series has to offer, starting with the most common, to the most disturbing and dark. Throughout the early seasons of South Park, it was a recurring thing for Kenny to die as sort of a way of mocking continuity errors. One of the reasons behind this decision for the character is that the writers had a classmate who would always be absent to the point they thought he was dead. And according to the lore of South Park, Kenny's parents attended a satanic cult many years ago. The mother was cursed by birthing a son who would be fated to die again and again, but would be reborn through her, and age to his current age after sleeping one night. As in any series that resorts to parodies, there are many cameos of celebrities. Some have taken their appearance with humor, and even lent their voice to the character, while others did not like it so much. Some examples are Russell Crowe, who had a time of many scandals due to his irascible temper, so the creators of South Park took the opportunity to portray him as an aggressive guy willing to fight at all times. Russell Crowe has said that the episode helped him realize how far everything had gone, and after watching it, he recognized his bad attitudes and stated that seeing himself that way in the episode helped him change. The same case as Kanye West, who also stated that his appearance in South Park made him want to change his attitude. Someone who didn't take it so well was Tom Cruise, as the writers made fun of him and his belief in Scientology. They also portrayed him as a guy who didn't want to realize that everything was a fraud, even himself. It is said that the actor threatened to cancel his schedule if the chapter was not withdrawn, and they did, but only for a while. There are even some celebrities who have asked to participate in the series, however the writers do not accept the requests, unless it helps to improve the plot. The episode, with apologies to Jesse Jackson, was an episode that would cause problems for Comedy Central, to the point of almost canceling the episode. During the episode, the N-word is used in a satire way to refer to African American people, but with a more serious and even contemptuous tone. Matt Stone, one of the co-creators of the series, managed to reach an agreement with Comedy Central to air the episode uncensored, and depending on the public's reaction, it would be decided whether to cancel it or not. In the end, the public reaction was mostly positive, so the episode can be seen normally. Terrence and Phillip were created in the first season, because critics basically said South Park is nothing but bad animation and fart jokes, so the creators decided to create Terrence and Phillip just to sort of prove a point. They are horribly animated and all the jokes they tell are about farts. They were first created as a show for the boys to watch. They weren't labeled Canadian, they just sort of had weird voices. After a few episodes, the creators of South Park decided to brand Terrence and Phillip as Canadian, as they thought it would be funny, as well as a way to differentiate the characters within the series. As expected, many viewers in Canada took it with humor, understanding that South Park is a series that usually takes this kind of decisions. However, many were also offended by being represented in this way. During the 7th season of the series, we had an episode dedicated to a Mexican restaurant called Casa Bonita, which is located in South Park, Colorado. What many did not know when watching the episode is that this restaurant is in fact completely real. It is located in Colorado. The restaurant was destined to go bankrupt, because for many of those who ate there, the food was always bad. However, the creators of South Park decided to buy it, so that it could continue in operation, adding that they would try to make it South Park themed. In South Park, as in many other series, we can see how our protagonists seem to be trapped in an infinite loop of time, as they are always in the 4th grade, even though there have been multiple episodes where Christmas or other annual festivities are celebrated. It is curious that they are trapped in the 4th grade, since during the first 58 episodes of the series, that is, the first few seasons of the series, they were in 3rd grade. We are currently in season 26, so they should have already moved to 5th grade after so many seasons, which is why there are many fans who have made theories about the reason for this strange event, arguing that it will be a plot of a future episode, where the reason will be explained in detail. One of the theories about why time doesn't pass inside South Park is because everything is a virtual simulation, a simple video game. This theory is based mostly on the plot of the episode, Grounded Vindaloo, in which Butters thinks he is living in a virtual reality and begins to destroy everything, only for all of South Park to question if they are not really in a virtual reality. We finally get to see the characters in real life, so many think this is the explanation for why time doesn't pass, as well as other things with no apparent explanation. Since the beginning of South Park, it has been made quite clear that the aliens are part of the town of South Park, being inhabitants of the same. There has not been an episode where the aliens leave the town by their will. This caused many fans to begin to discover secrets within the episodes, where aliens can be seen hidden in different places. It is unknown if all South Park episodes contain this secret, but many fans have discovered the aliens in many episodes, where they would not be seen with the naked eye unless you look closely at each frame. The Trey Parker and Matt Stone comedy is well known for its crude and controversial material, and while there are some South Park episodes that have aged badly, 200 and 201 caused such an uproar that they were pulled from circulation on Comedy Central, South Park Studios' website, and any streaming platform that airs the show. The banned South Park episodes 200 and 201 revolve around past storylines and controversies, with Parker and Stone pushing the boundaries of censorship, especially in the case of the South Park Muhammad image. Irritated that they could show Jesus and other religious icons, the inability to display Muhammad was the focal point of the episode. Throughout the South Park episode, past celebrities, angered by the town of South Park for continually ridiculing and mocking them, want to steal the powers Muhammad has to not be shown or insulted. In Islamic traditions, the Prophet is not allowed to be depicted in any way. After episode 200 aired, threats were leveled against both creators of the show and Comedy Central if they depicted the image of Muhammad further. Tegridy Farm was born in episode 4 of season 22 of South Park. Here we see Randy making a business, putting up a marijuana farm, this with the help of government inspector Tully, who gave the go-ahead and became a partner later on. Here the Marsh family leaves town and moves to the farm, where it fills them with hatred. This episode was made in conjunction with Spike Jonze and traced the U.S. history of marijuana prohibition to the present day, one of the most prolific industries in the country. But beyond mere fiction, the creators of the series are looking to make this a reality, and create Tegridy Farm in real life, as they have talked about how to bring this project to fruition. Many may think that South Park is digitally animated as it is done today. However, during the early days of the series, photographs and cutouts were used to make the characters and backgrounds, using an animation technique called cutout, which is a variant of the stop-motion animation technique and is done by photographing flat figures. These figures are usually made of cardboard, paper, cloth, and/or photographs arranged horizontally and photographed from above. The first 3 seasons of the series used this animation technique, and from the 4th season on, it was decided to change to digital animation. In 2011, a documentary was released showing that South Park episodes are produced just 1 week before the premiere on Comedy Central. In this we can see how an episode is commonly produced, from the process of writing the script, to the software used to animate the episode. Turnaround times are often very delicate, as sometimes the South Park team does not have much time to make an episode, as was the case with the episode, Woodland Critter Christmas, which was delivered just a couple of hours before the premiere. The episode, Banned in China, was so upsetting to the Chinese government that South Park was banned in its entirety in China. The episode mocks the way Hollywood must adapt its productions so as not to offend China in any way, as well as making fun of other aspects of the country. After South Park was banned in China, the creators apologized in a sarcastic and mocking way, implying that they don't care that their series was banned in China. As of today, it is illegal to watch the series in Chinese territory, so it is not available in any way. Even the website of the series does not work. South Park, The Simpsons, and Family Guy are the most referenced adult series in recent years. Many people prefer one more than the other, as each is unique in its own way. Curiously, South Park would make fun of Family Guy in the banned episode Cartoon Wars, where Cartman wants Family Guy to be off the air forever, making clear his hatred towards Seth MacFarlane's series. However, South Park would never make fun of The Simpsons, as it seems that the creators of South Park have a lot of respect for the series, and have even made several references between series, as a form of homage and respect, while the same cannot be said of Family Guy. According to Trey Parker and Matt Stone, Cartman's family was originally going to be larger, consisting of 4 members: Cartman, Leanne, Cartman's father, and Cartman's sister. However, shortly after Comedy Central adopted the series in 1997, they decided to downgrade Cartman's family to consist of only Eric and Leanne because Cartman did not need a large family and Cartman's dad was cut from the series, as well as his sister. This can be seen in the pilot of the series. Cartman's original father was removed, and throughout the seasons, many fans began to speculate who Cartman's real father might be. All the theories would come to an end when episode 201 was aired, as it is in this episode where it was revealed that Jack Tenoirman is Cartman's real father. Block 13 was a plagiarism of the popular American series South Park, which was made in Kuwait and aired from 2000 to 2003. The series was an almost perfect plagiarism of South Park, as they copied the character models and even copied the joke of Kenny dying in each episode. Although the series was a hit in its home country, outside the Arab world it has been branded as a very bad plagiarism of South Park. Episodes of the series are on YouTube, but only in Arabic and some with English subtitles. Unlike South Park, which is aimed exclusively at an adult audience, Block 13 is suitable for all ages. It was created due to the censorship of South Park in the Middle East. The Oscars have had many awkward moments throughout their awards. However, the creators of South Park would do something to make fun of the biggest movie award. South Park got a nomination for Blame Canada in the Best Original Song category. On the day of the ceremony, the creators of the series, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, decided to walk down the red carpet dressed as women and under the effect of LSD. As expected, they were the focus of attention for several minutes, overshadowing other stars who were in the place. Finally, the Oscar for Best Song went to You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins, corresponding to the movie Tarzan, although Parker and Stone didn't care much about it. Days later they gave statements, saying that in retrospective it was a bad idea to attend the awards under the effect of LSD, with all the lights around them. During the 5th episode of the first season, we meet Shelly, a character who constantly kept hitting Stan. In this episode, a scene where Shelly sets fire to Stan, to later extinguish it with water, would be eliminated. The reason is quite obvious, because during that time they had to meet a standard to broadcast the series, so the fire was eliminated, showing Stan on the floor, only to later cut the whole segment. The Cult of Eric Cartman was a group of fans in the United States that was dedicated to advertise the series as if it were a cult. The inspiration for the name is based on the episode, Do the Handicapped Go to Hell, of the 4th season, where Cartman makes his own church. Representing this group of fans, they decided to release a DVD with the episodes dedicated to Cartman, calling it The Cult of Eric Cartman. Currently there are many African American characters in South Park, but for a long time Tolkien Black was the only character to represent black people. This is a satire by the creators. In some episodes of the first season, we can see how Tolkien appeared with white skin, leading many to think that this was his original design. However, the creators of the series admitted that it was a mistake. Kay Bergman was a voice actress who performed as almost all of the female voices on South Park for the first 3 seasons. She was seen in the 1998 documentary Going Down South Park talking about her work as a voice actress and practicing various voices. Bergman suffered from bipolar disorder and generalized anxiety disorder, which, along with work-related problems, led to her suicide on November 11, 1999. Mary performed the song Blame Canada, for which South Park received its Oscar nomination. As is common at the Oscars, the nominated songs are performed throughout the gala. However, due to Mary's death, a version by Robin Williams was used as a replacement. Many tributes have been made to the actress, both in South Park and other series, and Matt Stone has stated that she was a very important part of the making of South Park. The game of South Park, The Stick of Truth, contains all the humor that characterizes the series. Being a video game that would be released globally, it was expected that in some regions censored certain parts of the game, to comply with the rules and standards of certain countries. The regions that were affected by censorship included the entire European Union, Africa, and the Middle East, although if the PC version was played in these regions, it did not contain censorship. An example of a scene that was censored is a mini-game in which the doctor is performing an abortion on the player. Each censored scene is replaced by an image background and a description text selected by South Park creators. Ubisoft, the company that developed the game, confirmed that the decision was a consequence of the market, as they wanted the game to be available in as many regions as possible. Matt Stone and Trey Parker are Los Angeles Kings fans. That's why they have produced shorts for the team during their home games. The shorts largely feature Eric Cartman in an ice hockey player attire as the main character, with occasional appearances of the rest of the boys. Most shorts begin with Cartman skating into the ice rink and greeting the crowd. A mascot representing the opponent appears afterwards, with Cartman getting rid of it by shooting or pummeling it down with his hockey stick, or calling for an ice resurfacer to run it over. These shorts have been produced since 2002, as a way to encourage the team and the fans. Many South Park fans have come to these field hockey games just to watch the shorts. A Mother's Courage was an animation released online from South Park for Halloween 1998. This was an animation that used the cutout technique like the early seasons, and was believed to be long lost. The short is about Kyle, Stan, and Kenny carving a pumpkin to look like Lou Diamond Phillips, while Cartman eats an entire bag of candy corn, leading him to vomit. It features the voices of Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It was later taken down and remade in comic book form. In the episode The List, the 4th grade girls have created a secret list that ranks the boys from the prettiest to the ugliest. At the end of the episode it is revealed that the list was a fake, but even so the supposed list is never clearly shown in the episode, so many fans began to try to decipher the positions on the list. After much discussion, apparently every position was discovered. Something curious is that in this episode a scene was eliminated, where Cartman finds out that he is in the last position of the list. As we have seen before, Kenny is immortal and can revive thanks to a pact of his parents. However, no one seems to remember the multiple deaths that Kenny has, even though they occur in front of his friends. Kenny himself reproaches them in the episode Coon and Friends, since he always dies and nobody remembers him. Curiously, The only one who is not in this scene is Cartman, and this is because many fans believe that Cartman does remember everything that happens to Kenny, since there are some episodes in which he recognizes that Kenny dies all the time. There are some theories about why this happens. In Succubus, the third episode of the third season, Cartman convinces his optometrist to give him an eye transplant, using Kenny's frozen head as a donor. The natural conclusion here is that Cartman is aware of Kenny's immortality, simply because he sees things from his perspective. Another theory is actually very similar, but carries a bit more weight. In A Ladder to Heaven, the 12th episode of Season 6, Cartman drinks Kenny's ashes with some milk, which causes him to experience several of his friend's memories, while also being possessed by his soul. This has led some fans to believe that the characters are linked in some way, as the two shared the same body for a period of time. In late 2004, Ubisoft had in development what was destined to be the first open-world South Park installment, which would feature mechanics similar to those of the Grand Theft Auto series and other major open-world titles of those years. This game would be released on GameCube, as well as other platforms such as PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Because Ubisoft was working on other major projects, the first open-world South Park was awarded as a project to developer BuzzMonkey Software. The main objective of the game was to solve puzzles and explore locations. In addition, we would find witty dialogues, various costumes, and multiple Easter eggs. Unfortunately, the title was cancelled, due to several internal problems with the developer. Not much is known about this game. We only know about a couple of videos with build 656. This build was apparently found in an Xbox development kit that was sold on eBay. This is the closest there is to see how the game was going to be. Gordon Stoltski, a third grader, is in charge of making the morning announcements. Gordon makes his final appearance in Dances with Smurfs, where he is gunned down during the morning announcements by a man who mistakes him for a 40-year-old truck driver, who is having an affair with his wife. This ends up causing the school body to do a memorial service for him and ask for someone to replace him. In this episode, there is a scene made by fans that recreates Gordon's death from his perspective, which many came to think that it was a real scene of the series, due to how well done it is. South Park has a special intro that was used in the pilot of the series, which is a little different from the one used in the first seasons, and even a little longer than the final one. Apparently the creators hated the original intro, which is why they decided to change it, but in fact the creators not only hated the intro, but they have made it clear that they did not like the first seasons of the series, because of how primitive it looks, plus during the second season they were almost not working on it, because they were busier producing the first South Park movie. Something curious in the intro is that all the characters of the series up to that moment make an appearance. However, the Prophet Muhammad appeared in the intro long before he appeared in the series, and as we have said before, his appearance generated threats to the creators, even having to avoid using his image in any way. And although those episodes are banned, you can still see Muhammad in the intro of the series. Perhaps the fact that he is very difficult to see is the reason why he went unnoticed. Many people have said that South Park affects the brain in a negative way, and supposedly there are studies that confirm this. The main reason for this is that South Park suggests the audience with bad practices and language. South Park affects people's neurology, killing neurons, as it is a program that does not require your attention, as the plot of the episode seems improvised most of the time. We have already seen how South Park is not afraid to make fun of anything or any group that exists. In this case we have the Church of Scientology. The Church of Scientology is a group of corporate entities and other organizations dedicated to the practice and dissemination of Scientology, which is variously defined as a cult, a business, or a new religious movement. The episode, Trapped in the Closet, would become quite controversial, because during this episode, the creators make fun of Scientology, which did not seem right, and even members of this church as Tom Cruise were upset. Cruise would threaten not to play his role in Mission Impossible if the episode was not cancelled. From that episode onwards, Matt Stone and Trey Parker have not returned to make fun of this issue. Isaac Hayes was a well-known musician during the 2000s, and was even the one who played Chef, a very popular character in the series. Hayes would stop lending his voice after the show's mockery of Scientology. It is believed that the Church of Scientology was the one who removed Hayes from the series after the mockery of his beliefs, and even worse, there are those who think that the same church was the cause of Hayes' death a few years later, all because of his participation in the series, which according to them was an attempt to popular beliefs. And although this is just a conspiracy theory, in the unlikely event that it was real, this would mean that a single episode of South Park has the power to cause such a tragedy.